You guys know I'm a big fan of Rory Miller. And one of the concepts that he spoke about really early on, like all the way back in Meditations on Violence, was about recognizing the gift, right? And this is such a cool concept. We talk about this a lot when we're doing our techniques and stuff. Is the way that I always phrase it was like, don't go fishing for certain techniques. You have to learn how to let things happen. And some of that is like, we have these massive tells. And I think I talked about this recently. This idea of like your brain has made a decision before you're even aware you've made a decision. And your body starts going through these priming actions that are going to tense certain things, relax certain things. And all of these things are these little kind of giveaways that you can particularly feel if you're hands-on, if you're hand fighting for wrestling, doing chi sao, push hands, that kind of stuff. You can feel a lot more of that. You might not be able to articulate what you're feeling, but you can feel it and respond to it. And the thing is that like, if you go fishing for like one of your specific hand techniques or something, what you have done is you have consciously made a decision, which means that you had already started making that decision, which means that you've basically given a massive tell to your opponent of going like, I'm going to make a decision. I made a decision. And now I'm going through the process of looking for it. And it slows everything way down. It kind of puts you on train tracks, makes it hard for you to deviate. It's really, really, really difficult. And a lot of the techniques that we use in the traditional martial arts are kind of designed for just like those one-off moments where like, oh, this thing happened. And if somebody does this, you just move and it just automatically goes. And this is why it's so important to work a lot of things into muscle memory. The idea of just like, oh, if I feel this or if I see this, my body just responds. Now you have to be careful with that, right? Because automatic responses can totally be gamed and leave you vulnerable. It's one of those catch-22 things that we just really can't get around. Like there's just a limitation to being human. But this idea of being able to just recognize a gift is such a cool idea. I really encourage you, please, go pick up Miller's books, follow him on social media where available. He's not so active himself, but, his Chiron training is meandering about here and there, and people who work with him are helping out, filling out content and stuff. And Miller is just phenomenal. He's got so many cool ideas, especially for people that want to go kind of beyond combat sports and recreational stuff into more serious stuff. I mean, because that's his kind of thing, is the world of like real world violence. And, when the stakes are high, you really have a lot less time. And so it's just a matter of like having things built in so ingrained that your body just kind of moves on its own. I mean, forgive me for quoting, Bruce Lee from Enter the Dragon, but that's kind of the thing, like, I don't hit, it hits all by itself. Yeah, kind of, right? It's, recognizing the gift is more like when your opponent gives you something, but it's kind of the same thing in the sense of like, we have automatic things that just happen because all of the little tick boxes were filled, all those criteria were filled, and it kicks off the algorithm and moves us in. Our brains and bodies are very, very, mathematical and algorithmic in that sort of way. So if you meet these if-then criteria, you can shortcut a lot of that and just go straight to the ending by having these things kind of built in and programmed in. And that's why we train stuff at high repetition. That's why we train stuff, through a lot of variability and all of that. It is just to get that idea so baked in. This is why it's important to have, and I've talked about this before, multiple entries and multiple finishes for every technique that you have, because you want to have this kind of decision-making matrix that is somewhat automatic. And the automatic part of that is going to be based on that recognizing the gift, i.e. fulfilling the criteria of your internal algorithm. And that's really all it is your internal algorithm is going to have a certain set of if-then criteria, and you have to be able to recognize it, which means you have to be present and aware and just paying attention. And if you can do that, man, you have so many availabilities to you, right? Because you don't want an if then that is just a blind go, but you do want an if then that is, fulfilling criteria that kind of cover any blind spots, or at least foreseeable blind spots. Anyway, it's really cool stuff. It's just something I was reminded of recently, and again, I would love for you guys to go take a look at some of Rory Miller's stuff, especially if you're more interested in the self-defense, real-world violence side of things, as opposed to just more general, recreational, historical, and combat sports, martial arts, which is more where I tend to be. I'm very much on kind of the Budo side of things, of using it for personal development. Yes, it is a utilitarian skill, but we see that the utility of fist fighting diminishes quite significantly in the real world as technology changes and society changes. But it does serve a lot of those personal development things that I think are extremely important and help us navigate the world better. So, learn to recognize the gift. Go give Miller a check, and other than that, train and learn how to tailor your algorithm. Right? Learn how to tailor your algorithm. That's not just something that Facebook and YouTube does to you, right? It's something that you can build in yourself, right? We are very much these if-then creatures, and build your internal algorithm so that it serves you in a functional way and doesn't feed you garbage. So I will talk to you guys later. Good journey. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Check us out on our other socials, and please head over to blacksunboxing.com to get a little more info, including how to contact us. Furthermore, if you are in the Phoenix area, please feel free to stop in, say hi, join in for a class, whatever. Also, if you ever see us cite sources or just for additional content, please check out our Substack. That is where we put all of the sources we use in our videos and is a major part of this. Plus, it serves as a membership platform for long distance learning and for people who would like to support us but aren't local. We would greatly appreciate it if you signed up. Even just the free membership helps us out a lot. All right, I will see you guys in the next video. Good journey.